Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It is going. It's going about the same as a couple days ago. We're into that really super wacky weather though
Mm-hmm.
here that we've had in Toronto. We're now 2 weeks ago we were what -18. Today we're plus 15 Celsius. So it's like a spring day out today. I don't understand it, but what the heck?
Yeah, true. I don't get it, but yeah, I threw on my jacket quickly. I was making an Amazon return today, and
Mm-hmm.
I went outside and I was like, wow, it's really windy, but wow, the jacket I'm wearing is really heavy. Like it was actually very, very nice outside. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's a good thing. But hey, I'm not gonna complain because there's nothing to complain about, actually, to be honest with you. It's good weather. When it's too hot or too cold outside, then I'll complain.
Mm. Yes. And I can't complain because I have a freshly brewed cup of amazing coffee from my home coffee maker with me right now. And that makes everything in the world just great. Because I may need some of this coffee watching tonight's Dynamite. We've been really
Hmm.
spoiled recently, you know that?
And it's funny, Tony Khan tweeted tonight's Dynamite will add to the list of exceptional dynamites we've been having recently. So I was like, really? Okay,
It,
sure.
it,
Let's go
it
with that.
will?
That's what he
Okay.
said.
Sure. Why not? Why not? Because we've been really spoiled
Hmm.
recently, like, nearly match of the year candidates in some cases, right? So, anyway, shall we get into tonight's card then?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, as most of you who listen probably know, what we do here on these Wednesday night shows is we're going to take a look at tonight's Dynamite, have a quick look at the card, predict it. Then we're going to go watch it, come back, and review what we saw. Did our predictions come true? And of course, most importantly, did anything on that Dynamite reach the all important Omega level? I'm a little skeptical about tonight's, but let's get into it. We start off. See, recently we've said all elite wrestling has been all elite wrestling, but I also said on Monday, and I believe you mentioned as well, that they need to
Hmm.
build better people. They need to give them some mic time and get
Yep.
them so we get to know who they are.
That's
Well, I think someone must be listening
right.
because lo and behold, we have first of all Renee Paquette speaking with Adam Cole.
Yeah, well, again, what are we? We're 2 weeks away from Revolution, right?
Mm-hmm,
So Adam Cole, we know is most likely his big return is coming at Revolution.
mm-hmm,
So we need to start something here. Kind of tell us, okay, who's Adam Cole challenging at Revolution? What's happening? What story is happening here, right?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm interested. It's Adam Cole. I'm happy he's back. I just want to see more of him, and we haven't really seen that. He showed up and a couple weeks back, and then we've seen some vignettes here and there randomly, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
yeah, I'm just interested. I'm curious to find out what's happening with Adam Cole.
I'm curious to find out what's happening with this pay-per-view. We're
Hmm.
2 weeks out, and we have what? One match, two matches?
Yeah,
Yeah, like we have MJF and Brian Danielson. What else?
we don't even have a trios match
Yeah, no trios
scheduled.
match, no tag team championship match, no women's title match, no yeah, it's like we have 2 weeks now to build all of these up.
Yep.
Good
Which again,
times.
I want to mention that WWE has been building up WrestleMania since January. Just throwing it out there. I know their builds a little bit too much sometimes, but January.
Well, yes, and I mean that's all fine, but if they stick to their plan, I've heard rumors things could go very very wrong this weekend. But
Hmm.
if it does and it's
Hmm.
amusing enough, maybe we'll talk a bit about that on
Yeah.
Monday. But yeah, no, and it's not as if we aren't going to have some really good matches. The one thing that AEW and it's my primary thing that you get is good in ring matches. I want good in ring.
Yep.
The rest of it for me is gravy. So you know. I just want some build now, though, to some good matches, because that would be great. And we'll see what Adam Cole says tonight, because I'm hoping this leads to a match at Revolution.
Yeah.
And speaking of talking segments, Wardlow will be sitting down on an interview with Jim Ross.
So, first of all, shout out to Wardlow for his appearance on Being the Elite this week. The Dark Order tried to recruit him, and he started off by saying, "Guys, I walk alone. I'm kind of the guy that's by himself. I walk alone." And then John Silver was like, "You mean like Batista?" And he's like, "Guys, I don't know what you're talking about, right?" And then he kept going on. He goes, "Batista, you mean the actor?" He's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Okay." And he starts talking, and every time he says something, he is referring back to Batista. Even he's like, guys, like I watched the movie this week with Batista. I'm giving it an up, not two downs. And they're like, Wardlow, that's Batista. What are you talking about, right? And then he actually at the end he ended showing them like his entrance. Yeah, I'm thinking about this new move for my entrance, and he literally did the Batista pose and the guns and everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad these guys have a sense of humor, and I like this like adding personality to Wardlow. This is fun. Oddly, I'm like, these are funny things you can do on a show like Dynamite where everyone is watching, add some personality to some of these guys, like have Dark Order on there and stuff like that. But I guess AEW chooses not to. So yeah, Wardlow sits down. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Like it's obviously the Joe rematch, right? He's gonna want his rematch, and he wants Joe at Revolution. I don't know what else he's gonna say. Like he's not really good at interviews, but he was pretty good in that segment. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I hope it's better. But I really don't know. It's just gonna be is it gonna be a generic Wardlow interview? Maybe,
This
I guess.
is AEW's opportunity to give us a reason to care about Wardlow. Who is he? What does he do? What are his motives? Why does he want to go after these titles? Why is he a man that walks alone? What is it like? Is it like what's going on with Wardlow? This needs to be like Jim Ross asking some tough questions, being real about it, and getting some real answers out of Wardlow. Like, okay, you haven't exactly done much since your fight with MJF. Address that. Get rid of the elephant in the room. I really hope they bring that up too. What they need to do is heat the dude back up again because the crowd loved this guy. He may not be my favorite wrestler of all time or anything, but hey, give me a reason to love him and I'll turn too.
Crowd loves
Right?
him.
Yep. Just give me a good reason why I should cheer for Wardlow.
Agreed.
That's what I want out of this interview. Do I think I'm going to get that out of this interview?
No.
Probably not. It's probably going to be really short, or Joe's going to interrupt it or something. So, anyway, but yeah, it's probably leading to a, Wardlow Joe match. We shall see. So then we have Orange Cassidy, the Acclaimed, and daddy ass Billy Gunn versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and the apparently wrestling Sonjay Dutt.
I don't know what is the purpose of this match. I'm so confused. First of all, why is Orange Cassidy with the Acclaimed? He has his own group. They're called the Best Friends, right? So why is he here with them? And do like I don't know this match. Like, who cares about Jeff Jarrett and like Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt? Like, the only really good wrestler there is Jay Lethal, right? So I don't care about this match. Like, is this an excuse to say, oh my god, Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal again, and these other guys, these random other guys, right? Because we've been saying the Orange Cassidy Jay Lethal matches have been great, but I don't care about these other guys, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't care at all about the Acclaimed. I don't care at all about Billy Gunn. I don't care at all about Satnam Singh and his group, Sanjay Dutt and his group. Do I think this is going to be a shenanigans filled crap fest? Yes. Do I think the Guns are going to get involved? Yes. Is this going to set up the Acclaim versus the Guns at Revolution? Probably. However it rolls out.
So we have 5 matches today, right? So this will be number 5.
1, 2,
right?
3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Counting during the podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can only count to 4.
So we have
6. I get 6
matches. Okay.
Yep. Yep, because we got this one, 1, 2.
Oh yeah,
yep,
3,
I
see the match. I see it. Yeah, so I'm thinking this is probably gonna be the worst match.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that too. It's more than likely going to be the worst match on the card. So yeah, number 6. Then we have Toni Storm versus Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D.
So So this match is probably going to be pretty good. I mean, like, it's an interesting match. As I said, the women's storyline has been better than the men's recently. So like it's one of those. Okay, so we know Storm and Baker on different sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's Soho. It's kind of like, okay, which side are you on here? Are you on, like, I know it's a three-way, and I know it's every woman for themselves, but let's say the match ends and attack happens on probably Britt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does Ruby help her, or is it a swerve as well, right? So I'm interested. I think this match is going to be pretty good. I actually do think it's going to be good. I'm trying to figure out where I'm listing it out of 6. So I gave the number 6 to the previous match, which can change. That I can be totally wrong. I'm gonna say, judging by what we have here, and this is not in any way a knock on this match, but I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be number 5.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? I'm actually going to say it's going to be number 4.
Okay.
Yep. I think these 3 women will have a really good go at it. Toni Storm's been improving recently. They should kind of getting her wheels back under her again or whatever. She does way better in this heel shtick anyway. I think it suits her offense style better. It'll be interesting to see what happens. There's actually a storyline reason for having this match. It's kind of a blow off from Rampage, but what will Ruby Soho do? Nothing apparently, and we'll have to wait till Dynamite. So yeah, but beyond that, yeah, and you got 3 women, 2 of whom are quite good, one who is improving. I think it's going to be a pretty decent 3-way. So I'm going to call this number 4.
Okay.
So then we have Mark Briscoe taking on Josh Woods.
So this one here, I'm going to list as probably my number 4 match, just based on the fact that, like, I know Mark Briscoe is really good. Josh Woods, he's good, right? So I'm very curious of how this match is going to go down. I'm assuming it's going to be a hard hitting match, and obviously a showcase again for Mark Briscoe for AEW fans and for Briscoe himself. So I'm going to leave this one at number 4.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be quite good. It is Mark Briscoe's, is it his, no, he already fought in ring. What am I talking about? Yeah, it's his second match, right? Yeah, and is this Josh Woods' first Dynamite match?
He may have fought in a tag match before, but I'm pretty sure it's his first singles match on Dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good match. I'm going to call it my number 3 match of the night. I suspect it'll be good enough to hold that spot. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not like super hyped for it or anything. The build was really just, oh, they're trying to recruit Mark Briscoe and he said no. So they're sicking Josh Woods on him. Okay, cool. That seems to be a reason for matches a lot of the time in AEW. X Faction attempts to recruit a guy in one day.
Yeah.
And when the recruitment fails, then matches.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Then we have Brian Cage versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry, numero dos.
Yeah, the second. Yeah, I guess so. I like Brian Cage. I think he's fantastic, and I love Jungle Boy. I think he's so great. I'm gonna put this as my number 2 match. I'll have a reason when I name the number 3 match, but I'm gonna put this in my number 2 match because, again, these 2 guys, I like both of them. They both put on great matches, so I don't see why this technically may even steal the show. Right, these 2 guys are that good, so I'm gonna slot it in number 2. But I'm saying this might be a dark horse here.
Can Jungle Boy please win this one and then call out Samoa Joe for the pay-per-view?
Whoa! Oh my God! Yeah, but can anyone ever wrestle a match like Joe and Little Dead Boy himself, Darby Allin?
No, but that's why you do it as a different match.
Yeah, I guess.
Right? He doesn't have to wrestle like Darby Allin. He needs to wrestle like Jack Perry.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So I think that could be his coming out party as a single star, right? I mean, that might be why they've got the title on Samoa Joe. You never know, because he did say he's going after a title.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and he's gonna have
So,
one.
he wants a singles title. So, I think this can be a very good match. I'm going to put this in the number 2 spot as well. And I think it also has a chance to steal the number 1 spot on the night,
Mhm.
too, depending on how the other matches go. So, this also means that we have AEW World Champion MJF fulfills his contractual obligation to appear in Laredo, Texas.
So he's gonna appear. I guess this is where they may have like a battle of words, him and Danielson.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Danielson's gonna show up today, right? Yeah. I wonder. Last week he tells that story, it gets everyone going. It's kind of like, okay, not bad. Not bad. I see where we're going here.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm still trying to be optimistic for this. He put in a great match. I'm not gonna fault him. He put a great match on as well. But that's not a 60-minute match with Bryan Danielson, right?
Right.
And how much carrying is Danielson gonna have to do? But yeah, I want to see what's gonna happen with this. Again, I hate this. He's contractually obligated. Okay, dude, I'm so over this leaving. Just go. Come on. I'm so tired of this. Give
Yeah,
the
or
belt to
just the
Jungle Boy.
whole, oh, if I'm the champ, I don't ever have to
Yeah.
appear anywhere, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, whatever.
Give
Yeah, I
the
know.
belt to
Last
Jungle
week
Boy.
he went from being a solid C minus level champion to
Mhm.
a solid B minus level champion with that promo. So I was kind of like, okay, not bad. So let's see if he can do better than a B minus tonight. That would be kind of great.
Agreed.
I'm skeptical that he'll do any better than a B minus because I think he's running out of ammunition very fast. Apparently, the story about him getting in a car accident was a real story.
Oh.
But he was with friends, and he really
Yeah,
was
yeah,
in a really
yeah,
bad car accident like that at
yeah.
that age. So he took something from. I'm sure he's starting to run out of stories from his past, though. But we shall see. I would still like a better story to this match than I'm evil and Bryan Danielson is good without any reference whatsoever to the whole William Regal thing
Yeah.
or anything. Anyway, we then have Hangman Adam Page taking on Kip Sabian.
This match I'm slotting it at number 3. Because I love Hangman. He's fantastic. I haven't been too impressed with Kip since his comeback. I don't like his gimmick. It's stupid. I don't understand it. And his wrestling's been sometimes mid, right? So I'm wondering like are you going to go out there and have a fantastic match with Hangman? Maybe, but I just don't have any faith at the moment. And Hangman is amazing. I don't know how much he's going to do here, but I'm going to slide it in my number 3. And again, another match that who knows? These guys are good. Like Kip Sabian has it in him to be a really really awesome star. So who knows, right? Like let's see what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be number 3.
Right. See that Kip Sabian's another one that I would like to know more about. Who are you other than a weirdo with a box head?
I don't know.
Yeah, like seriously, that's your whole character right now. You speak funny, you speak in semi-poetic terms, you seem kind of crazy, and you sometimes wear a box on your head and you hang out with Penelope Ford.
Yeah. I
That's
don't
your
get
gimmick.
it.
I don't get it either. He needs to have interviews, like actual
Yeah.
promos where he explains his motivations. Anyway, I'm going to rate this as my number 5 match of the night. Look, I love Hangman. Kip Sabian has been mid as heck since he came back.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, because I like the guy a lot. I'd
Same.
like to see him do better. I don't think Hangman's a match carrier.
Maybe.
I mean, he has some great matches, but you don't see too many great matches against people who are kind of, yeah, you know, maybe it'll surprise that. I think this has the match that has the most potential to surprise me. But going into it, I'm just kind of like, really? Hangman versus Kip Sabian? I kind of don't care. I don't really see
Yeah.
a reason for the match. And I don't see it being like, oh my God, this is Danielson versus Roosh or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if there's a bill, just put these two guys in a ring, right? No, and again, we have no Konosuke Takeshita on this card. No
That's
House
because
of
he's
Black.
too busy wrestling on Elevation.
That's right. Yeah, no House of Black because they too are too busy wrestling on Elevation or not appearing at all. Yeah. Anyway. And finally, we have the Texas Tornado Tag Team match. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli taking on Roosh and Preston Vance.
Yeah, this is obviously by default going to be my match of the night. It seems like the Blackpool Combat Club is really just Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, and John, because they seem to all just be tagging with each other,
Mhm.
right? Or being in trios together.
Mhm.
While Danielson just does his thing. Cool. But against Roosh and Preston Vance, oh my god, I can't imagine how hard hitting this match is gonna be.
Oh my
John
god.
Moxley and Roosh. Oh, I don't even know. I don't know we'll say that. And then powerhouses, right? Then you have
Yeah.
like pound the strongest man in Claudio versus like Preston Vance, who's pretty strong, right? So that's gonna be an interesting one as well. Preston Vance, who's like, I mean, you know what? He's doing more with Roosh than he was doing with the Dark Order, so that's better for him. Like it's better for him. He's getting more face time.
Mhm.
Um, his character's still kind of weird. I guess he's going after luchador masks. That's all he does. He rips masks off of the luchadors.
Right.
Sure, I guess.
So
Right?
he's
He's the
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know. So this match is gonna be I think it's gonna be a great match. Um, I think these guys are gonna put on a show. It's gonna be hard hitting. And yeah, I think by default, my number one.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? It's got John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Roosh.
Agreed.
And then they
Agreed.
have Preston Vance.
Preston Vance.
Yes. Who, though he doesn't suck, is not
No.
exactly my kind of wrestler. A
Yeah.
little slow, big moves. Okay, that's fine. Um, but he's going to be in there with like Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley. So, hey, it should still be really, really good. This could be a very, very good match.
Mhm.
Do you know why they're having this match? Did I miss
No.
something?
No.
Oh,
I'm thinking. Now I didn't watch Dynamite. Sorry, Dynamite. I didn't watch what was it? Elevation or Dark this week yet. So I don't know if anything may have happened that maybe would have triggered this, but I didn't see anything
right, right.
beforehand.
Yeah, I have no idea why this match is happening. It just seems like they went, "Hey, we need these four guys to wrestle tonight,"
Mm-hmm.
which I'm
Sounds
okay with
most
that because it's
likely.
probably going to be a really good match.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a better reason for it. I know I've been harping on that a lot, and I'm sorry for that, but it's just, AEW is almost perfect when it comes to in-ring stuff for the most part, like there's just so many good matches. I just want the rest of it to come together now,
Yeah.
It's like
Nice
the next thing
package.
they need
Yeah.
to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice little package.
It would be great. It would be great because I watch all this other stuff with like great backgrounds and builds and stories and stuff, and it's just I would like to see AEW go to that level. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is going to be an Omega level Dynamite if I had to, considering
Doesn't
that
seem like it.
the Elite's not on the show.
Oh no, no. What they're gonna do is they're gonna announce an elite match for Friday for Rampage. That's what they're gonna do.
Oh, okay. Well, that just means Rampage will be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I don't know. It's like, hey, Tony Khan, if you want a brand split, then just tell us, man. Like tell us
mhm.
that the lead are gonna be on Rampage, right?
Mhm.
And like these belts are gonna be defended on Rampage, like that weird belt that what's his face has. Orange Cassidy. Most of his defenses are on Rampage,
Oh,
right?
the All Atlantic
Yeah, all
Championship.
Atlantic
Yes.
one. Yeah, like most of them are
Yes.
Rampage. So like, okay, sure, but let us know because
Yeah.
then we can plan accordingly.
Exactly. That would be great. Yeah, just do a brand split, dude. Like you could legitimately have two completely separate and very good rosters.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take like, oh my, we got to do that for one Monday or something. Just have like our
Split it.
draft fantasy rosters, split it down the middle, and go, here's what we think would be great for two separate shows.
Yeah,
But anyway.
and that would include like I would say you would include ROH in there too, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, because you could also then have ROH and split them
yeah,
up between the three. That
yeah,
would be a lot of fun, actually.
yeah. And there are rumors that I'm not sure if you heard this, but Tony Khan actually is trying to buy another wrestling promotion. I'm not sure what exactly what promotion he's trying to buy because it ain't New Japan or
Well,
WWE.
obviously, New
so
Japan's
like
not for sale, people.
so like I don't know. Probably a smaller one. But yeah, that should be interesting news.
Hmm.
Uh, though we already have a loaded roster, so we don't need anything else.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Anyway, yeah. Well, that'll be some rumors we might be able to talk about on Monday too.
Mhm, mhm.
Interesting stuff. But for tonight, with AEW Dynamite in front of us, shall we go and watch tonight's show?
Let's do it.
Okay. As always, we will be back. And that was Dynamite. And Dynamite came to us this week from Laredo, Texas at the Samus Auto Arena. Not quite a super fun name, but it'll do. Excalibur, Toni, and Taz were on commentary, and we open the night with the Orange Cassidy, Acclaimed, Daddy Ass Billy Gunn versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sonjay Dutt. You can tell by my tone of voice, I was super excited for this match. Not.
Mhm.
Max insulted Jeff Jarrett during his rap. Did I miss anything important? It's just a bunch of...
No, well, no. I mean, the only important thing is that I didn't even realize that Jeff Jarrett's father had passed away.
Yes, that is a good point.
And
Yes, Jeff Jarrett's father
Max,
has passed away.
yeah, and Max actually, you know, paid a little tribute to him. Said that he was actually a good man, a better promoter than Jeff was ever going to be, right? So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, he kind of
yeah,
handled it well, so
yeah.
that was fine. He used the father's death in a way to elevate the father and
Mhm.
insult Jeff Jarrett. So.
Exactly.
Is it just me or did Orange Cassidy seem really out of place on this team? Maybe it was just me.
Everything about this night felt out of place.
So the crowd was chanting for Orange Cassidy at the start of the match, which I thought was like, you got all these guys in the ring and they're chanting for him, but that's cool. The Acclaimed worked over Jay Lethal early, but they eventually got the advantage on Max. At one point, Satnam tagged in, and it began a series of tag outs trying to get to the right opponent matchups. During the sequence, when Billy tagged in, the Guns showed up on the ramp, and somehow Billy didn't lose the match because I think the Guns forgot to put their music on.
They did. Yeah.
Jarrett versus Billy was one punch even totally missed. Billy sold it. Don't know if you caught that or not.
Oh no, I didn't.
The match was what I'm only going to describe at this point as glacial. Satnam Singh didn't change it much, given he basically just smacked everyone around to booze. Billy Gunn finally hit the famouser on Singh after he tagged Dutt. There was then this waterfall sequence, which was probably the fastest part of the match, that ended with an orange punch on Dutt. They keep trying to do the scissor me timbers to various interruptions on Dutt. Like every person comes over and tries to go up the ropes to do it, and they keep getting dropped off, including Orange Cassidy doing his soft kicks to Dutt on the ground in the scissor me timbers position. Apparently, Dutt is completely incapable of fighting at all. They pin Dutt after the scissor me timbers for 3. I'm only going to say this. This was terrible. Jade Cargill matches seem good next to this. Match number 6 for me. What did you think, Krishna?
Yeah, this was bad. When they opened the show up with it, I thought, okay, no, get it out of the way. Get the trash out of the way. But this was bad, and to top it off, the crowd wasn't even into it, and the crowd all night seemed again a bit off. If they were in it, I think I'd be like, okay, let's see what they were cheering, but they weren't even cheering, and there were a lot of boos. I actually think AEW was actually messing around with some of the audio because I swear I was hearing boos throughout some matches tonight. So yeah, this was just not a good match. Not a good match, just a mishmash of people thrown together. Apparently the scissor me timbers is the most deadliest move in wrestling because it totally could is a finisher now apparently.
Well, it was on Sonjay Dutt, to be fair.
Well, it was on Sonjay Dutt, and even Sonjay Dutt when he was being held by Max Caster was kind of like what's going on when Orange Cassidy was kicking him. So it's stupid. This match was just dumb. I don't even know. Like this is a match where you should just probably have it on not Dynamite. You could have it on either one of the YouTube shows or have it on Rampage.
No, I have an idea. Like, let's not have it at all.
Or not have it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
There's so many better matches you could put together. This was ridiculous crap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep, I'm telling you, I'm not joking when I say it. I would rather watch a Jay Cargill match than this because at least it's over quick and I know what I'm getting. It's not just a train wreck. I mean, honestly, it got glacially slow. I mean, when Jeff Jarrett was fighting Billy Gunn, I'm like, what the hell am I watching right now? We went from those matches we had last week and the week before that and the week before that to this. I'm like, this is not boding well for the evening.
Nope.
But we do get a Bryan Danielson video after that, and he's going to challenge for the championship. And you cannot tell him for one single second that there's a person alive who thinks MJF has more heart than him. MJF's actions last week prove he's scared. He knows the boogeyman is coming to take his AEW World Championship. Now, I thought the match was between Bryan Danielson and MJF. I didn't know the boogeyman had returned to wrestling.
Well, now you know, right? Now you know.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good promo. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like the promo was just another one where why do we have these recorded ones if Danielson's in the building? And we'll get to that in a bit. But why are we having this? I'm so confused right now. Right? But
Yeah,
sure.
it did seem kind of odd that we have a pre-recorded promo from Bryan Danielson. I mean, admittedly, it was kind of, he was drenched in blood
Yeah.
and it looked okay, and his passion was all there, and it's the promo itself was fine,
Mhm.
but you're right. I mean, if he's in the building, why are they doing
Why are we
video
having
promos
this?
for Bryan Danielson who can actually use a mic, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
we went from that to the Texas Tornado Tag Team match that was on second. We have the Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli taking on La Faccion and Ingobernables, Rush and Preston Vance. And they tell us how this match happened. It came about, remember, we were curious. It came about because Rush was the last man that Bryan Danielson faced, and La Faccion Ingobernable beat down Danielson. So therefore, they're out for revenge. Scene
Yeah.
Danielson.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so LFI jumps the Blackpool Combat Club in the crowd. The on-screen graphic, I don't know if you had this, but on my screen it kept saying this match was up next during the match.
Oh no, that didn't pop up.
Oh, it was on my
Wait, did it?
screen.
No, you know what? You're right. It did flash up.
Yep.
But I was more concerned about the match, and we'll get to the match itself. But
Yes.
continue.
Yes, so they brawl through the arena with both sides getting the upper hand for a bit. Vance rolls Mox in the ring, and the bell finally rings. Rush takes out Castagnoli on the outside, helps Vance double team Mox in the ring, including a spinebuster dropkick combo. Claudio finally returns, kicking Rush off the apron, giving Vance a flying uppercut and a torture rack slam for two, while Mox goes and gets a couple of chairs. Claudio sets up a chair in the corner, bulldogs Vance onto the other chair. We see Hangman watching the match in WWE style, in other words, sideways to the TV, looking at it from an
Love it.
angle which
I love it.
messes up the color. As Mox and Claudio throw Vance into the corner chair, Rush tries to fight them both, gets a double boot followed by a Mox tope suicida. Vance throws Claudio out, spears Mox off the apron into Rush and Castagnoli on the outside for a pretty cool spot. Rush and Vance attack Castagnoli's shoulder then with chairs, bury him under a timekeeper table where somehow he remains for a substantial period of time. Also, somehow Mox is now bleeding.
Yep.
And LFI works him over for a while. Rush does the pull-up jaw kick and pose. There's a crowd sign at this point that reads, Jim Cornette owns the elite. Nice try,
No,
guy with the
maybe
sign.
Jim Cornette booked tonight, but he definitely does not own the elite.
Yeah, that's true. Possibly. LFI did a combined arm pull with their boots on either side of Mox's head that looked pretty cool. Mox fought his way out, though, dropping Vance on the floor, taking down Rush with a strike exchange. But Vance nails Mox from behind with a chain for a near fall. He then beats on Mox with the chain, but Claudio returns, drops Vance and Rush, gets the chain wrapped around his own hand, and beats the hell out of Vance, who gets busted open from this. He then gives him the giant swing, but Rush breaks up the resulting pin. Rush nails Claudio with a roundhouse while Mox hits Rush with a lariat, but Vance lands a cutter on Mox for two. All four brawl in the ring now until Rush and Claudio are left. Claudio goes for the Gotch pile driver, but Jose then jumps in the ring, hits Claudio with a chair. Yuta shows up, takes out Jose while all four guys are down in the ring. Rush and Claudio get up first. He takes Claudio to the turnbuckle with a belly to belly, but he goes for the horns. Claudio spears him. Vance breaks up the pin. Rush goes for a plancha to the outside, but Claudio hits an uppercut on him. Back in the ring, Mox chokes Vance down with the chain. I don't know why someone didn't do this sooner. And locks in a Juchi Gatami with the chain around the neck. And the ref calls the match.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So, I like a lot of the guys in this match. I really do. I really like them. But this match, for me, and maybe I've been spoiled for the past couple Dynamites, like with really good, fast, hard action. Because a lot of things happened. There were some cool spots in this match, but nothing for me to say, man, you know what? There was a great match. I was kind of like, yeah, that was a match. Good for you. That was a match, right? And I wasn't really impressed. I really was not impressed with many things because again, after watching Danielson go through this gauntlet, after watching the elites, and the multiple different tag teams like put on really, really good shows, I just thought this was good, not great, just good. And I was like, I really like, I'm looking at my list and I was literally laying out numbers, like not even numbers. Whatever the match came up, I put like whatever the worst one was. Well, obviously the first one was the worst one, and then I just put the next match above that, and then whatever if the match for that was better, I would then shift the order, right?
Right.
And I didn't find myself shifting the order for a lot of tonight. Like so, this match, like I'm gonna say again, put it in my number 5 spot. But by me saying that is in no way saying this is one of the worst matches. This is me just saying this match was good. Like the rest of the show was just good. Like I if you were to ask me, listen, the garbage match was the first match. The garbage match was absolutely the first match. Everything else on the card was good. Right? They could all be tied for number 5 if they wanted to, right? But there was nothing that blew my mind on the show. So spoiler alert there. But like I've seen so much better from all of these guys. Well, maybe not Vance, but everybody else, right?
Pretty good showing from Vance.
Yeah, and he did well. I really enjoyed the choke out at the ending because I'm like, why hasn't someone just done this before, right?
Yep.
Just like you said. But I like we'll get my thoughts of the entire show at the end, but yeah, when I got to match 2, I was like, oh, something's up tonight.
Yeah, I think I liked this match a lot more than you did. I enjoyed it. Now again, there's nothing on this card. Like the thing is, in the last few weeks, we've had matches that clear 4 stars easily.
Yeah.
Right. We've been really spoiled. Things that are like 4.5 stars, 4.25 stars, like just consistent over 4-star. And those are damn good matches, right?
Yeah.
This to me kind of felt like the kind of show where you get it and like the matches are good. And I mean, I get cards like that. Some New Japan shows are like that. You know, so there's Stardom shows where the best match on the card is like 3.75 stars, right? They're good. And this is kind of what this night felt like to me. It was one of those shows where it's going to be good, but you're not going to get great. You're not going to remember this Dynamite at the end of the year, right? I would have given this probably about 3.5. Right. I mean, it was a solid match. They all wrestled well. You're right, though. We're spoiled. We've seen all these guys put on better, well, maybe except for Preston Vance, put on better matches, right?
Better matches.
But that said, it wasn't a bad match for what it was. It was well put together for a tornado tag. It was pretty chaotic. There was some good hits. I think Mox's bleeding was a little sus, but I'm just all of a sudden Mox is bleeding. And then of course see the cut later
on the night. So you're like, oh. You see exactly what the blade job happened. But
exactly. It's like, see, Vance's bleeding made sense. He just got clocked with a chain in the head, right? Like, okay, that makes sense. But we didn't even really see where Mox got such a blow to the head. But anyway, that said, no, I enjoyed it. I would have given this, for me, on this card tonight, this is my match of the night.
I wouldn't be surprised. As I said, like the rest of the matches for me were all on the same level. They were good, right? And that's why I said, like, at any of the matches coming up, guys, you could choose them as your match of the night. And I couldn't really in any way argue that because I'm like, they were good.
Yeah, and I would agree with you too. I'd be like, if you've picked something else, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to argue against you. I mean, this was my match of the night. I enjoyed. I just kind of like John Moxley a lot.
That's it. And that's fair. That's fair. Mox and like again, everyone in this match I love. Like Preston Vance not so much, but everyone else, like Roosh is fantastic.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and that's the thing, right?
Amazing, right? Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah, it was, and I liked the end. The end with the choke down and the Tsuchigatami with the chain. I loved it. Great ending. Like that. So in the back, though, we now see, and the problem is during the broadcast, they mixed this up with the end of the match, giving the end of the match 0 time to breathe. I'm like, couldn't they have shown this like a second after the match or something? But anyway, in the back, we see Hangman being attacked by Kip Sabian, Butcher, and Blade, and Hangman's left laying. They caught him looking at the monitor, they say, which means Hangman has terrible peripheral vision because how he was standing, he should have seen them coming.
He should have seen that. I saw that. I was like, what's happening right now? I mean, this is gonna obviously pay out at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah, it's totally going to pay off at the end of the night. This was a way to make it say maybe Kip Sabian actually stands a hope in
Might
hell of
win.
beating Hangman Adam Page.
And that's
Oh,
what I thought they were gonna play out. But we'll
that's
get
what
to
I
that
thought they were
match.
going to play out too. But we'll
Uh,
get to that match when it comes. We then get the Wardlow sit down interview with Jim Ross, and Jim
mhm,
starts, he starts talking about, he doesn't go back, doesn't talk about all the stuff he's had to
mhm.
overcome or vanishing, the stuff I said. You start there, right? No, he just starts with the night he lost the TNT title to Joe, because that apparently is the only story Wardlow has now. What's next? And Wardlow says, Joe and I did share some personal stories together when we held those titles and were fighting as a tag team. He said, my father from the time I was 8 instilled every ounce of drive and athleticism that's in me today. But by the time I was 8, he wasn't in my life anymore till I was a young adult. And then soon after that, I got the call from him that my dad had stage 4 cancer. And though he still made it to Wardlow's first indie show, and Wardlow promised his father he would do right and make it. And it was the last thing that he ever said to his father. And so after his father passed, he grew out his own hair and beard in
Mhm.
honor of his father. And Joe took that from him. And then he turned to the camera and he said, "You took that from me. You've survived every monster in this business that this business has to offer. But Joe, you will not survive me."
You know, I'm happy that they gave some backstory, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of confused why they never gave this backstory earlier about Wardlow. Never even, hey, you have Will Hobbs walking around some random streets telling a story about himself, but you'd never tell anything about Wardlow, who was your champion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you have the Book of Hobbs going on that no one cares about. Let's be real here. No one cares about
What
that.
what happened to
I don't know.
that?
I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
1 week it just stopped. I totally forgot about it. And
He
then
showed
Hobbs
up.
never showed up.
He showed up. What was it, last week? With the book of Hobbs, and he just like murdered somebody. So that was, I don't know. I don't know. But like I'm watching this and I'm like, you know, this is what we were asking for. Give us some
Mm.
backstory. Hey,
Yep.
I didn't know that this had happened to Wardlow. I didn't know he like that's why he had that stupid
Hmm.
haircut, right? So now I feel
Yeah.
bad for calling it a stupid haircut because I didn't realize any of this stuff. But I'm
Right.
like, and when Joe took the hair, everyone asked, why? Why did you do that? So I'm glad that he was able to share that story, because now you're like, okay, I think Wardlow's fan base is getting built up again. That's great.
Hmm.
Like you have a story, you have a reason for him going after Joe. I kind of felt the last part of the delivery was too like. So what I was thinking is, for anyone who's seen John Wick, at the during the first movie, obviously everyone knows the dog dies and he goes on like rampage. He is explaining to this one guy why he's back, and he's like, you took that from me, you killed that and the passion he was showing, right? So he's
Hmm.
explaining why he's back, and all I can think about is Wardlow doing this thing, and I'm like, oh man, Keanu got you on this, man. He really got you on this one.
Yeah.
But he did it, and I'm like, it fell flat,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
It seemed forced, whereas the story itself he told earlier
Hmm.
seems so real, right?
Yes.
So how the ending feels so flat. I'm like, I'm still like, obviously I want Joe to win, but no, I'm supporting Wardlow now. I'm like, you know what? This is a good story to tell. This is
Yeah.
great. Had you told it earlier, maybe the shock of your cutting of your hair would have been
Oh my God. Could you have
crazy, right?
imagined that moment if we knew the story before that moment actually
Yeah,
happened?
yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
like, oh my God, this is what we've been talking about. It's what Meltzer was talking about on the weekend and stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, tell the
Story.
story. Who is
Yeah,
he? Why is he motivated? Well, he's
yeah.
motivated because, his dad, and then his dad wasn't in his life. And then when his
Mm-hmm.
dad did came back, he passed away shortly thereafter.
Yeah,
And he promised to his father he was going to make it. Holy crap, right? Like right there, holy crap. And then he grows out his hair and stuff
yeah.
because of
Honor
his
him.
father, to honor his father. And Joe cuts that off. That
Takes it
would have made
away
that
from him.
moment shocking as hell. The announcer should have been screaming
Yeah,
about it, right?
yeah.
Like really driving home that point, right? It would have been heinous instead of just, oh, okay, he cut off his man bud.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah,
And we
exactly.
didn't know.
I
I
was like,
mean,
yeah.
I know we were. And I mean, but the point is we can't feel bad about something we didn't
No,
have the
no,
tools to understand
absolutely
properly.
not.
You didn't give us the story. You didn't give
Yeah,
us the tools. Well, you did now. So that's good. It's a good first step.
better late
It's
than never, I
it's
guess.
well,
Right?
I'm not gonna, we've been asking for it. We've been
Hmm.
asking for a story. Well, we now have one for Wardlow.
Yeah.
It's a start. So credit where it's due. They tried, but you're right. The end of that promo fell totally flat. He really
Oh,
needs to work on
oh
that
my,
on that delivery, because man, he did not sound intimidating at
it was
all.
flat. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. John Wick. He owns
Right. And then the
Wardlow.
word part is the framing of that entire shot, because they did, it's not like they turned the camera and zoomed in on Wardlow.
Yeah.
JR is just like
They're
sitting
still in
there.
the shot. I know.
I'm like, this
It
is
was
weird.
kind of bad direction too, but yeah.
Uh
Anyway, and we are now getting Wardlow and Samoa
yeah.
Joe at
Yeah.
Revolution.
Yeah.
So we then get Mark Briscoe taking on Josh Woods.
Mhm.
And Woods seems to get an advantage until Briscoe shoulder blocks him out of the ring. But when Briscoe goes for the tope, Nice and Davari pull him out. But he's rescued by the Lucha Brothers. So the distraction costs Briscoe, though, as Woods nails Briscoe with a corkscrew suplex to the floor, then pummels him around the outside before tossing him back in for a body slam that only gets a 2 count, and
Yeah.
then continues the beatdown for a while until Briscoe comes back with redneck kung fu from the apron, then a kick sending Woods to the floor. Briscoe gets a chair and uses it to do an over-the-top rope
Yeah.
cannonball on Woods,
That was
which
kind
was
of cool.
yeah,
That was
that was
kind of
cool.
cool.
That was very cool. Yes. Then tossing Woods back in, he sets him up on the top rope, lands a crucifix bomb for 2. He goes for the J driller, but Woods powers out, rolls through, and lands the rolling chaos for 2. He hits a gut wrench power bomb, a knee strike, but Mark fights out of the double underhook. They fight back and forth a bit until Briscoe lands an Inzaguri and a Death Valley driver. Then he goes to the top and lands the Froggy Bow for the 3.
That froggy bowl was awesome. Holy cow, man. That move was pretty cool. I like this match. I did. I like this match. Like Jay, not Jay. Apologies. Mark Briscoe. He's really good. He's really really good, and I'm shocked. Like that we're finally using him. Like a lot. Um, the whole the Lucha Brothers thing. Like I'm happy they're back,
Mm-hmm.
but why did they take out? So Mark Briscoe had the same reaction everyone else had watching. We're like, what?
Yeah.
We're happy they're back, but what the heck is going on right now?
Why are they helping Mark
I
Briscoe?
don't know.
And why are they like are we really gonna get a Lucha Brothers and Ari the Trust Busters feud? Isn't Ari
My
Davari the
assumption
leader
is
of the Trust Busters?
and I don't know. I didn't see, like, I didn't follow the list of people who showed up, but like maybe they're part of that casino thing that
Yeah, but why would they interfere?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. But yeah, the yes, that part very weird. I don't understand. I
Mhm.
don't. But the match between Woods and Briscoe, pretty good. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought I enjoyed it. And I'm looking at my list, and as I look at the list, I'm like, do I move it up? Do I move it down? And you know what? I'm going to put it in my number 2 spot today,
Okay.
because I like looking back at the other ones that are coming up. I'm like, as I said earlier, they all could be tied for like the number 5 spot, right?
Right.
Because they were all like, good, or you can say tied for number 1, and then you can rank them. It was good. It was fun. Again, confusing when the whole situation with the Lucha Brothers happened, but I really loved some of the moves that Briscoe does, right?
Yes.
And Woods, like, again, he's pretty damn good. Like, I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
why this guy doesn't get used more often. He was flying around, and he was like mocking Briscoe, and mocking with the look the sky boy and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I liked it. My number 2 spot. Give me more Mark Briscoe. Give me some of these, like, heck, they quickly said that apparently Mark and Woods were opponents in Ring of Honor.
Mhm.
Didn't even know. There you go. Right.
Right.
So maybe
They're
a bit
making
more
a big
builds.
assumption, right?
Mhm.
Like you can tell
Mhm.
later on in the Christopher Daniels stuff that they're making a
Mhm.
big assumption that every fan that is watching AEW must somehow know Ring of Honor inside and out, backwards and forwards. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know a
Yeah.
little bit. I know who the players are. I've seen a
Mhm.
few matches, but not enough for me to go, oh, I'm some kind of Ring of Honor expert or something like that, right? I mean, my exposure is watching the weekly show occasionally and a couple of events I attended. Your exposure, to the best of my knowledge, is even less than that.
Oh yeah, 100%
So,
less than that.
and I would say that you've probably got a good chunk of AEW fans who are more like us, right?
Mhm.
Because Ring of Honor, the one problem they always had was with their television show and my getting into it. Yeah, the wrestling was great, but man, the production sucked. Like
Agreed.
sucked hard. It was dark. It was, yeah, I mean, look, I watch Stardom fight out at gyms, but the production is better. It's bright. I can see what's going on, right? I'm right there in the action. It's just fine. If it looked like Ring of Honor, I'd have a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. The point being in this match, yeah, I thought this was a good match. This is my number 4 match on the night. But again, I mean, we're really ranking stuff that's pretty damn close to
Even,
each
yeah.
other. So yeah,
Yeah,
I enjoyed
agreed.
this. I thought both of them wrestled really well. I think my problem was just a complete lack of story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they pushed each other around a bit in the back. And like I told you, it's like AEW trope number 7. Manager tries to recruit guy. Guy says no immediately with 0 build. So therefore, man from stable must attack person. Okay, that's great. Yay, match. So yeah. It's I swear to God, sometimes I feel like we're playing the video game or something
Oh
where,
yeah.
they have like the story set up and it's always just gonna be some little,
Someone's
yeah.
skipping it. That's all they're doing. They're skipping the story.
Yeah, or they're not just skipping the story. It's like the built-in stories from like a WWE 2K game backstage or something, where it's like the stories are these quick little video game reasons for them going to fight, and that's what I feel like we get sometimes. Anyway, Renee Paquette is now in the back with Adam Cole, and Renee says, "You've returned. How have you been?" Adam Cole says, "I couldn't be happier. I want to be in the ring, but I've learned to celebrate little victories, like my eye not twitching and not having to throw up. So I'm very, very happy." And Renee says, "So what's the next chapter?" Well, there's so many chapters I haven't explored yet. I look at our roster, it's never been better. I know when I come back, I need to be prepared. I got a couple ideas of who I'm going to fight, but I'm not going to tell you. And that was really the end. He's just big future for Adam Cole.
You know, AEW is really good at not building hype for anything, right? Because like you remember when Hangman came out and he's like, he's talking about his concussion and how the one thing was he couldn't
Yeah.
remember his son's name, and that
Mm.
that hit home for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? This Adam Cole thing about him feeling nauseous,
Mm-hmm.
he said this when he came back.
Mm-hmm.
He said the exact same thing, and I'm like, okay, uh, so what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're not even going to give us a hint. You're not even. I thought someone was going to jump in and attack him. I really thought someone was going to jump in and attack him, right? And I'm
Right.
like, there you go, your match. No, we got to wait because we have 2 weeks left. I don't know. This is just so. I don't know what they were trying to achieve with
Mm-hmm.
sympathy, or I don't know what they were trying to do here. It just fell flat for me.
Yeah, me too. It was kind of like I do feel sympathetic to him. I
Mhm.
understand he went through some hard stuff. Okay, so we built him up as a sympathetic baby face returning. Great. But he's not going to tell us who he'd like to fight. He's going to keep that secret 2 weeks before the pay per view, because apparently the matches that have been signed for the pay per view are enough to build hype. We shall
I,
see.
I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, there are some pretty good matches on this pay per view. I'm not
there
going to lie.
are.
But the Elite's not on it yet. And
Not
I
yet.
can't imagine watching an AEW pay per view without Kenny Omega when he's not injured. So,
Yeah.
like, hurry up and get Kenny Omega on the pay per view, please. You have 2 weeks. Get him there. Thanks. Anyway, well, MJF's music hits, and he spends a very long time getting to the ring because I presume that was during the commercial
Commercial.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't talk or anything. They just show him getting to the ring very slowly. Like, why was this picture in picture? Just send me to the commercial
I
screen
know.
and I can go and like take a leak or something. Jesus. Anyway, MJF finally gets in the ring, gets a mic, and he says, these people used to love me. And it bothers me that they love you, Brian Danielson, but they're fickle. So I turned my back on them. But at least I'm honest about who I am. I'm the devil. You're not so honest. In real life, you're a worthless sack of trash. You've taken everything you've been given for granted. But I also hate you because you have these people convinced that you're better than me. Why do you think he's the best in the world? Because he entertains you? Because he does cool maneuvers? Because he puts on 5-star bangers? We only get in this business to become world champion. The only way you know you're the best in the world is if you're holding the AEW World Championship. That's something Brian Danielson has never been able to accomplish. Now, Brian, I know you're going to give me everything you've got at Revolution, using every trick you've learned all over the world, but after those 60 minutes are up, I'll be victorious. You aren't the best wrestler in the world. I am. And I'm going to prove it because you don't have the balls to do what it takes to win. If you don't want to take my word for it, maybe you'll listen to a man who has known Danielson his whole career, who Danielson looks to as a mentor. And he brings out the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. And the announcers remind us that Christopher Daniels and Brian Danielson even, Brian Danielson, were longtime rivals. So Daniels gets the mic and says, okay, so full disclosure. And MJF tells him to be honest. And he says, okay, fine, I will. Full disclosure. MJF paid me an obscene amount of money tonight to denigrate Brian Danielson on national television. And there was a time in my life I would have taken that money. That's not the man I am today. So if you want the truth, Brian Danielson is set to knock your dick in the dirt. I remember the first time I was in the ring with a 20-year-old Danielson. He hit me so hard I thought I'd die. I knew he was going to be great. And he goes on giving all of his like accolades. And, you know, he says the tournament that he was in inspired the creation of ROH as a promotion. ROH brought real professional wrestling to a fan base starved for it at the time. Those same fans that were ecstatic when AEW opened. If there wasn't an ROH, there wouldn't be an AEW, and there definitely wouldn't be an MJF. I think he kind of missed the link there. If there wasn't Brian Danielson, there might not have been an ROH, which meant there wouldn't be an AEW. Anyway, I think that would have drawn the connection better, but I don't write promos. I've shared locker rooms with Danielson all over the planet. He's a pro wrestling sponge. He knows what it takes to be a world champion. He's going to do it again, and that's why you hate him. It's not because he's about to take the belt. He is exactly what you wish you could be. He's the best wrestler in the world today. Not you. You're a fraud. He's going to out wrestle you. And MJF knocks the mic out of his hand. They jaw at each other. Christopher Daniels slaps him, but MJF kicks him in the nuts and puts the salt of the earth on him until Danielson comes out to the rescue and MJF runs away.
So, you know, Brian Danielson's in the building. So they had a pre-recorded, segment with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then MJF was just allowed to come out and just spew nonsense about Danielson. And Danielson was just sitting in the back saying, all right, cool. I'm cool with this. Mm-hmm. And then he calls out Christopher Daniels, and Danielson still, I'm cool with this. That's all right. Until he hits him. And anyways, like
and then he runs out, but doesn't get a mic.
Yeah, this entire segment was like, what are you doing, guys? Like you had such great matches last week and stuff like that, and a better promo, and we're back to this kind of cookie cutter WWE stuff again. Like, we're really doing this stuff again? We just had it. Like, Danielson's not wrestling tonight. MJF's not wrestling tonight. Have them do a face off. Let them talk. What's the big deal? Again, another part of the show just fell flat for me. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't like MJF kept going with the look how far I'm willing to go to beat you angle. Yeah. We went back to the you're jealous that Danielson is probably a better wrestler than you angle. Right. And okay. And it was really just generic insults from MJF and the usual kind of like he says, oh yeah, you're so dishonest. But he never actually explains in the promo how Brian Danielson is dishonest.
Yeah.
Because he's not being dishonest. He just tells them all he's the best. Mm-hmm. And the only way that he's apparently dishonest is just because he's actually a degenerate like the rest of this crowd, which is just run-of-the-mill heel crowd insulting. But MJF's promo didn't actually make logical sense because he was going to say how he's a liar. Okay, great. Tell us how he's a liar then, because you didn't do that.
No.
And I liked Christopher Daniels' bit. That was pretty good because it actually builds up the lineage of Brian Danielson and why he's such a good wrestler and stuff. And, you know, how he's sort of that representative for AEW and the core wrestling and that lineage from ROH to AEW and that kind of, I'm like, that's good stuff, right? That was probably the best part of this whole thing. But what I don't understand is why Danielson couldn't have rescued Daniels and then cut his promo.
Yeah,
even if MJF fled, get the mic, cut your promo in response to what MJF just said, right? Yeah. And that, you know, talk about Christopher Daniels and what he meant to you and this whole thing about wrestling and why MJF doesn't stand a hope in hell of beating him and stuff, right? Like the passion and stuff that he talked about a bit in that first video segment, which was unnecessary, and put it there.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a much better segment. But hey, this wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was just there and kind of long.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, we then get a Gunn's promo video. They mention all the things people have said about them negatively, and then they say, we've had 1 year of experience as a tag team, and we've had 10 matches on TV, and too bad we never had to go to the indies. Welcome to the Gunn show. So they're bragging about being inexperienced.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. These are your tag team champions, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then we get another match. We get Brian Cage, the Swolverine. His shirt, it was funny.
Yeah.
Versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Perry goes right after Cage, including a float over drop kick, sending Cage out, followed by 2 tope suicidas and then a tope con hero. But Cage catches him in the tope con hero, smashes him in the apron, then brings him back in the ring. And there's a second rope deadlift suplex to bring him back in. He works over Perry for a while, including an overhead throw out of a sunset flip, which just looked nuts. Perry finally fights back, hitting Cage with a drop kick, but he gets caught on the crossbody. There's a backbreaker and a Liger bomb for 2. Perry escapes an F5, but gets power bombed into the turnbuckle, and Cage then hits the F5 for a near fall. Cage tries to suplex him out of the ring, but Perry hits the double stomp on his back and a diving splash for 2. He hits the Death Valley driver, but Cage kicks out at 1 at this point. He then no-sells a thrust kick, but then Perry hits a crucifix bomb, another thrust kick, an elbow to the back of the head, and rolls him up for 3. And do you think the announcers called him Jack Perry enough during this match?
No, I think they need to call him Jack Perry a couple hundred more times, right?
Yes.
I like this match. It's gonna fall into my number 4 spot. And again, the only reason I said it because the matches here on in are basically like on the same level. My problems match, even how good it was, I've seen so much better from these two. It's because hey, they fought each other, right? So
Yes.
and that match was better than this match. Like the roll up at the ending, I was kind of like, okay, like I don't know, like it looked a bit off, but it was okay. The best part of this match came afterwards, but I didn't hate it. Again, number 4, I thought it was a good match. Kind of like, what was the purpose of this match?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a throwback because Brian Cage apparently asked for it,
Asked
and
for
Jack
it.
Perry's like, sure, why not? Let's do it again. I beat you once, but I can beat you twice. Sure, I guess.
Okay, all right.
So it was just what they couldn't find another opponent for Jungle Boy.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sorry, Jack Perry.
yeah, because apparently AEW has no one else, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, this wasn't even close to the caliber of their first match together. It was good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, Jack Perry trying to get offense off and Brian Cage thwarting it. And that was really the story of the match, was every time Jack Perry tried to come back, he couldn't.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the match, Christian's music hits. So Jack Perry charges up the ramp at him, but Christian pulls out some pepper spray or mace or something and sprays Perry's eyes with it, and then pulls off his arm sling. He tells the down to Jungle Boy, I'm not done with you, and he delivers the kill switch on the ramp.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Christian back. So I like this a lot. I actually thought Luchasaurus was going to be back too. That's why I was like, oh my god, is Luchasaurus back too? My issue is like, hey, AEW production crew, get your shit in order. Like, what the hell, man? Like, the countdown for his music starts coming, like they count the numbers, and they're already into the song, and I'm like, they messed up the friggin' audio with the video. What the hell, right? So so I was like, okay, because the announcers were like, oh, who's this? You know exactly who it is because they already messed up the cues, right?
Yes.
So let's be real. So when Christian came out, I was like, yay, Christian's back. And then I was like, wait. I'm like, is Luchasaurus gonna come out suddenly and attack Jungle Boy? But then Jungle Boy gets maced, and then he gets the what do they call it now? Is it unprettier still, or what?
No,
do
it's
they
the
call
kill
it?
switch.
Kill switch.
They
Sorry.
still call it the kill switch.
Yeah, sorry, I've gone way back and prettier. And yeah, he hits him. I guess it's gonna be your match for Revolution, my assumption, right?
Oh, probably, yeah.
because they never got that match because Christian got
Nope.
injured.
Exactly.
Right? So they need to build up that match a little bit more. Christian's back. Like I'm okay with that. I'm good to see this match.
Well, it's already got a good story behind it, right? The guy who betrayed him, blah blah blah. This story makes logical sense. So I'm down with this story. I like Christian being back. I love the fact he maced him. I'm like, why don't more guys do this? They come out there with like why is Christian the smartest guy in AEW? Right? I mean,
he just is.
I know, because like, why don't more guys carry mace around, right? It would just make sense. Oh, this guy charges at me, and down he goes. Oh, oh, because it's not like it's a match.
No, exactly.
Anyway, yep. So then we have Renee in the back with a special announcement. So apparently the Guns are going to be defending their tag titles in a triple threat match at Revolution, and there will be because apparently tag teams haven't been fighting enough, so they have no idea what the rankings are. So there's going to be a tag team battle royal for the next 2 weeks. The first one will be a traditional battle royal. The next one will be a casino battle royal. The winner of each of those will be the 2 teams that will go on to face them. But then the Acclaimed shows up and they say, we were screwed. So it's a 4-way match at Revolution because we're invoking our rematch clause and we're going to beat everybody. And then I thought to myself, whoa, wait. Wasn't a whole point of AEW that their contracts don't have automatic rematch clauses? I mean, that was something they said back in the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that was also back in the day when wins and losses mattered, Bill.
Oh yeah, that's also why we have no rankings, so we have no idea who the actual number 1 contenders for the tag team titles are.
Correct.
Right. Okay. We should really go back and calculate like which tag team has been getting the most wins recently. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it should be Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy.
And Isaiah Cassidy, yeah.
Going for the tag titles.
Right? I love them. They're so awesome.
Yes, exactly. And I'd be okay with that.
Same.
Yep. But yeah, we're gonna get these battle royals the next 2 weeks. Any idea which 2 teams are coming out of them?
I'm thinking that FTR is probably going to come out of one of them because they're still technically under contract. I think they're coming out of it, and I think because it's definitely not the Young Bucks and because they're in a trios thing. I don't know with the last tag team. I don't know who.
You're being really optimistic, my man.
Okay.
I don't think FTR is even going to be in these, but in these battle royals. I think we're going to get Isaiah Cassidy and Matt Hardy.
Awesome.
And if I had to guess the other team, who's been getting a lot of action recently, but really isn't. I
wouldn't be surprised if it. Well, think about who just came back. The Lucha Brothers are back.
Right. No, but they're busy with the Trustbusters. They got a big feud on their hands now, right? So we're going to see them constantly now on Dark, where they're fighting the Trustbusters. Lord, I'm laughing, but I'm probably not wrong.
Do you think the Kings of the Black Throne are even going to be in it?
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. The Kings of the Black Throne could win one of them, and then they will just have the absolute tar beaten out of them by all 3 teams during the actual match at Revolution. They will have no showing whatsoever and just be. In fact, they probably could be the guys eating the pin.
Yeah,
that's about how they book the House of Black. So they'll just eat the pin at Revolution, and then that makes everybody happy, right? So. Yeah, I don't know. I have no faith in this tag team division right now. No. Watch, it's going to be 2 absolutely no-name useless teams. Like, and look, Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy are not no-name useless, but they're not the Lucha Brothers. They're not the Young Bucks. They're not the Kings of the Black Throne. They're not they're not Private Party when Private Party is actually Private Party, right? They're not Top Flight.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to get teams that are below those levels in this match. Yep. That's my guess, is that it's not going to be any of the major tag teams that AEW actually has. And you know why? Because the Acclaim's winning the match. The minute they're in there in the 4-way, they're getting their belts back.
That sucks.
There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever this whole match has been set up simply to hand the Acclaimed their belts back.
Their titles. That is going to suck. So.
Yep. Anyway, well, then we get a brief moment of sunshine and happiness on Dynamite, because We go backstage with the Elite. And Nick says, it's NBA All-Star Weekend. And he talks a bit about basketball, and I ignore him. And Don Callis says, yeah, and who are bigger All-Stars than the Elite? And he's not wrong. And then Nick talks about basketball. And for the first time in the entire time that I've listened to the Elite, I have no interest at all in what they are talking about. But then AR Fox and Top Flight show up and remind them that they almost beat them. In other words, also reminding them, you guys beat us last week. How about we do it again? And Don Callis says, nah, we've got business to take care of. Don Callis is not wrong. Dante then says, oh, so you play with balls, but you have none. And Brandon goes, whoa. To which Nick immediately responds, shut up, Brandon. So Kenny says, oh, you want to slander our name? You want to disrespect us? Well, I'm pissed off. You want to have fun on Rampage? Let's do it. And of course, he tells Don Callis to back off at this point, too, that he's got this. And Don's like, oh. And he goes, so let's do it. What do you say, Matt? Yep. Nick? Yep. The Bucks are both like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then Matt throws the ball into Brandon's nuts to end the segment. Poor Brandon.
Yeah, so match of the night. Can we call it match of the night right now?
Can we call it the AEW match of the week right now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
because nothing on this show is gonna beat that.
That's
match,
right.
So
that's right. Like the Elite were there. They're Elite. Like this was a fun segment. Like, do I think it's kind of really early to have these guys fight again? Yeah, a little bit. Like, but sure, why not? I had a great time last week. I'll have a great time on Friday. But do you want to hear an Elite announcement, Bill?
Yes.
I have this is fresh off the presses here.
Ooh, now I'm excited because this excites me more than almost anything I saw on Dynamite tonight. Almost.
Tony Khan has just congratulated Mark Briscoe, who earned a second win on TBS on AEW Dynamite tonight. And it is now official, Bill. Mark Briscoe is Elite.
Oh, cool. That's good.
So there we go. We actually have the Briscoe. I was gonna say Briscoes, but the Briscoe.
Yes.
Finally signed. After all these ridiculous things, right? So at least some good news out of
oh, that's great. Good. He deserves it. Finally.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know it's funny, as we're talking, I'm going through Twitter looking at comments from people. We're not the only ones that had this feeling about tonight's. They were calling tonight's Dynamite a miss, not a huge success. But
we also I have to, like, the one thing that's in my head watching this though is I got to keep in my head, we have been given a smorgasbord of over 4-star matches for weeks in a row, right?
Yep.
We've still had the same complaints about storylines. Those didn't change tonight. The only thing that changed tonight was more talking, which was necessary. They needed some talking to build some stuff, so I'm totally fine with that. More talking, and the match quality wasn't as high. So we're calling it a miss, I would say, largely because we didn't get the match quality that we've had all year so far. Because we didn't get the Bryan Danielson match. We didn't get the Elite versus Death Triangle match, right?
Yeah.
Like
couldn't get Takeshita matches.
Takeshita, yeah. Well, I mean, Takeshita's like the master of AEW Dark Elevation now, right? So, he's down there with the House of Black. Anyway, so we're going to get a really good match on Rampage. All right. Reason to watch Rampage this week. Love it. So then we get Hangman Adam Page taking on Kip Sabian. Now Hangman comes out and he is 100% fine from the beatdown. I'm not wrong on that, am I? He seems perfectly fine.
He like before the announcers could even say, "What's the status on Hangman?" He literally like marches out, and you're like, "Oh, okay.
Well, that's not a story anymore." Okay, cool. So Kip starts with a kick in the head, a jawbreaker, and a cannonball, but Hangman comes back with strikes, then catches Kip on a springboard into a fallaway slam. Penelope distracts Page outside, allowing Kip to nail Hangman with a springboard flip out of the ring, which gives Kip some control for a while, but Hangman finally catches Kip on the turnbuckle, but Kip headbutts him off. Hangman dodges the move, lariats Kip out of the ring, and then throws him into the barricades repeatedly. Back in the ring, he hits a pop-up powerbomb on Kip for 2. Kip fights out of the Deadeye, but then Hangman hits a lariat and the Deadeye for 3.
Yeah, fast match. I enjoyed it. Kip looked better in this match. I have to give credit where credit's due. He looked a lot better. He looked more like super bad Kip Sabian than this whatever the hell this is he's doing Kip Sabian, like James Bond villain Kip Sabian here, right? Yeah, I like this match. I did. It told a quick story, though it didn't really tell a story because it was kind of like just two guys fighting. because the beatdown had nothing to do with anything afterwards. Right. I'm like, AEW, if you have selected Hangman as your number one babyface, build him as your number one babyface.
Yes.
Right? You see what you did with what's his face? Wardlow tonight? You're planting those seeds. Good. Do it with Hangman. If Hangman had come out there and he's limping, he's barely, and he beats Sabian, which no one thought Hangman wasn't going to beat Sabian here. Let's be real. Great. Like, we'd have a lot more. Again, I feel the audience was really out of it tonight. And I don't know if you got that feeling too, but every time, like, for me, when I'm watching, I'm always looking at the crowd as well. I want to see crowd reaction. And they were just sitting there. And I'm like, come on, people, get into the match. And then sometimes they'd say, like, for some things, they'd say, holy shit. And I'm like, really? That was a holy shit moment compared to other stuff you guys have seen?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I guess maybe being there. But yeah, I really like this match. You know, again, as I said, every match on here kind of tied from here on in. I liked it. Again, I love me Hangman Page. So I'm gonna give this my match of the night, I guess. Right. And it's so hard for me because let's say these matches were on the previous weeks, right? They'd be ranked severely low based on the quality we got, right? Yep. So yeah, again, good match. Fast, kind of tried to tell a story, but really didn't at the same time, because I guess it was building to the end. Afterwards we'll talk about that, but I liked it. And I'm just giving it my match of the night. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I got nothing to add. It was my number 2 match.
There you go.
Kip looked better. Hangman was Hangman. Yeah, that was about it. My number 2 match.
And Hangman winning with the dead eye. He didn't even have to do a buckshot or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So great. I mean, at least it made him look strong. So then the Blackpool Combat Club comes to the ring, and Mox says, Singh Danielson, of course. Mox says, Cowboy, I know you think you've got unfinished business, but we don't. Your ass got pinned. After all our battles together, I have respect for you, but zero fear. I know you inside and out. I got your number, and there is no chance in hell you will ever beat me again. So let it go. Hangman says, I'm not happy with our last match's result. I don't think you are either. It ends in a roll-up. I don't think that's how this ends. I think this ends when 2 men go into a cold, dark alley and only one comes out. I want that match. I think this ends with only one left standing. I think this ends at Revolution, of course. And Mox says, I was hoping you'd say that. I was hoping you'd want to go down this dark, dark alley with me. I was hoping you'd have no friends that could talk you out of it. But the emo cowboy, he ain't got no friends. And so the Dark Order's music hits, and Evil Uno says, did I hear you correctly? Did you say he has no friends? We've had his back for 2 years. And Hangman gets pissed. He's like, I told you not to come in here. And Uno tells Hangman to get out of his face. And Uno goes to Mox, we had to say this to your face. Evil Uno is not afraid of you. The Dark Order is not afraid of you. And then Uno pie faces Mox, and Hangman gets mad again. Mox then just looks past Evil Uno and says to Hangman, Cowboy, hey Cowboy, Revolution, Texas Death Match. And Hangman is in the ring yelling at Evil Uno.
So I think Moxley didn't hear what Hangman was asking for. He was clearly asking for a Mountain Dew pitch black match. Okay.
dark alley.
Dark alley, yeah. Mountain Dew pitch black match. Like, clearly they don't watch Mox doesn't watch WWE, right? He hasn't seen the fantastic Mountain Dew pitch black match. I like this. I was confused. I'm like, wow, the Dark Order, the Blackpool Combat Club are acting very heelish right now, right? Surrounding the ring, getting in Hangman's face by himself, telling me he has no friends. I'm like, oh, okay.
I liked it.
I did like it. I really did like it. Yep. Even Wheeler Yuta was playing up kind of this cocky little thing. I was like, Yuta, Hangman destroyed you in your match. Let's be real here. And then again, Dark Order. Thank you. Have them on TV. We were talking about this in the pre-show.
I know. It's like, wow,
right?
We just said this.
Right. Yeah. Have them on TV. They're the perfect group to back up Hangman because everything they said was correct. We've had his back for 2 years, and Hangman always says, no, don't get into my business. I don't want you guys, like, remember, he feels like he cost them things, right? That's why he blames himself. So I love the fact that they come out, they're defending their boy now.
Yeah.
They're showing that, like, they're the faces, right? Like this is hilarious, right? Like, hey, Yuta and I thought they were gonna have a trios match. I thought that Mox, Yuta and Castagnoli, we're gonna challenge Dark Order here. I was like, oh, that's gonna be a cool match. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Even Castagnoli and Yuta versus Silver and Reynolds. Again, another good match.
Yep.
We're talking about tag matches just now. I like these fights. I really like that. But man, Texas Death Match, Moxley and Hangman. I hope no one gets a concussion out of this one. I really hope these guys don't kill each other.
Yeah, but man, am I looking forward to that match. Yep. Oh my God. See, that's just it though. There's story. There's a reason for it. There's a build to it. There's a back and forth. They brought up the history with the Dark Order. They've been playing on that. And it's like, there is actual reasons for all of these fights. Like, I heard that they're going to do a Texas death match between this. I'm like, oh my God. And it was fine. I was like, hey, that's real hype. I'm actually hyped for this match. It's the first match on this card that I'm like, holy crap, I really want to see that. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing Hangman and Mox go at it. That could very well be the match of that show. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be insane. And I'm with you. I really hope no one gets a concussion.
Yeah, honestly, like I know Mox is probably going to be going on vacation. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I really hope he doesn't get hurt. Right? Like, and I really hope they have a great match. And you know they are. It's going to be violent. It's going to be bloody. I don't know what else they can do, man. And that's what's concerning me here.
Yeah, it's going to get very, very interesting. So yeah, Texas Death Match is pretty much the pinnacle. So yeah. But we shall see what happens with that. Well, we get the hardest working guy tonight, Tony Schiavone, in the back with the Jericho Appreciation Society, and the whole Appreciation Society is there except for Anna JAS. Was she there? I didn't see her.
I didn't. Was Ty there? Ty was there, right?
Was Ty there?
No, I don't think any of the girls. No, none of the girls were there. No. So I was wondering. I'm like, I didn't see either of them.
It's just the boys.
Just the boys were there.
Yeah. So Jericho says, Ricky Starks, you have a problem with Jericho. You keep demanding another match, but that's not going to happen. You're not at my level. And Garcia says, but this Friday, you have a match with me. You complain all the time that it's your time. It's the Jericho Appreciation Society's times. You are absolutely, and Cool Hand Luke was annoying. And Matt Menard says, absolutely delusional. And for some unknown reason, absolutely, I like this hat. That made no sense at all. Nice try, Jake.
Listen, Jake Hager is playing. Like, listen, I know some people hate it. He's just playing that one note character, and I'm here for it. He's so ridiculous. I love that he's having fun. Right?
Yes,
he's not trying to play a serious. He's having so much.
Yeah,
fun.
He is. He's having fun. You're right. Maybe I'm just a cynical old dude, and I'm like, I can see the shark he's already jumped over with that hat. But
that's it. That's the thing, right? He's already gone. It's already out there. Yeah. So you're like, you just have to roll with it now.
Doesn't care.
Absolutely, I loved it. This hat. So I was like, what?
Yep.
And I was just thinking about something actually when you mentioned the girls were not there. You know, the whole thing about Ty and Sammy always coming out, I prefer Sammy and Garcia and their little tag team thing they got going on. They're much better, like it's coming out together, like helping each other. They're always hugging each other and stuff like that. Like these are the bros here. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I prefer that. But yeah, you're right. The women were kind of missing unless they have a match on Rampage or something we just don't know about. I don't know.
Well, why would that preclude them from? Well, then again, like Bryan Danielson couldn't do an in the ring promo because he had a backstage video. So who knows what their thinking is. So anyway, Garcia is going to fight him this Friday and expose him as a fraud, an absolute fraud. So we then get Tony backstage with the Firm. And Stokely Hathaway wants justice because Hook broke his arm. He wants Hook fired. He's been talking to big lawyers, and he name drops a bunch of the big ones like Al Sharpton. And Matt tells him, though, that he missed a big party. And of course, everyone was there except Stokely. And Tony then tells them he gets a message from the back that Hook is suspended pending investigation. That's it.
And then Stokely high fives Paige with the broken.
Yes, and then you're right. And then Stokely high fives Paige with the broken arm. Yes, exactly.
And he's like, listen, I'm very much enjoying this stable. It's. I know they're bad, but they're so funny.
Yes,
like it's just hilarious. And question for you, where's Big Bill?
I have
and
no
Lee
idea.
Moriarty.
I don't know.
They're are they not part of the stable, or have we just said it's now Cassidy, Hardy, and Paige? Is that it?
And
Like,
Hathaway. I mean, those four guys together
yeah,
are awesome.
they're funny. They're so good. They're so like I love the way Stokely was dressed. Like he's dressed like one of those protesting like Black Panther guys. Right? He looked so ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the whole purpose.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
why
He
he was
looked like
dressed
a
like
dude
that.
out of like a black exploitation movie or something
Oh,
like
it
that
was
from the
it
60s
was
or
it
70s
was
or
so
whatever.
good. It was
Yeah.
so funny. And Hook, and I love the fact that Sophie, where were you last week? And I think remember we asked that where were the rest of the guys last week, right? Stokely's just by himself. And hey, we got a throwaway line, and it was that's where they were. They were having a party, and
Yep.
Stokely was supposed to be there.
Yep.
So ridiculous.
Were there girls
Oh,
there? Yeah, man.
yeah.
Oh, it was funny. Anyway, then we move on to what I was kind of astonished to find out at the beginning of the show
Main
was going to be
event.
our main event of the evening.
Same.
We have Toni Storm versus Ruby Soho versus Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. Toni Storm's music hits, which I no longer dislike it as much since Club Venus became a thing in Stardom. And I'm like, at least this isn't Club Venus's theme music. Saraya and Toni attack a fan who, I don't know, she looked kind of familiar. Like, I think I've seen her wrestle before.
So the minute I saw her, and I'm like, why are they focusing on this woman? And I'm like, and the minute they pulled the thing away, I'm like, wow, she's clearly in the front row with that sign, kind of in the walkway where Mox normally just walks in
Mm-hmm.
through. I'm like, she's not a plant, no way. And of course,
Yeah, she
immediately
did
they
look
drag her
familiar
out.
too. I swear I've seen her wrestle before. But anyway, who knows? Anyway, Ruby checks on the fan, so keeps her in the neutral corner. Britt Baker comes out, and we all realize that her entrance absolutely destroys the other two women's entrances. She just
Mhm.
looks like a star when she
She
comes
does,
out.
she does.
No.
And then Jamie Hayter comes out with her.
Yes. And then Britt goes right after Toni, but when Toni holds Britt for Ruby to hit, Ruby rolls up Toni for two. Britt and Ruby fight until Toni pulls Britt out, dropping her on the floor and getting in Ruby's face in the ring. They go back and forth a bit. Toni knocks Britt off the apron with a hip attack, followed by Ruby sending Toni out with Saito suplex. Britt gets back in the ring and disposes of Ruby, but Toni gets the advantage on Britt, working her over for a while until Ruby returns and inziguris Toni and drives Britt into the turnbuckle. Toni gouges Ruby's eyes, stomps her down. Ruby then no-sells a bunch of Toni's kicks from her knees, but Toni slows the match to a crawl with some corner chops until Britt picks it up with a running clothesline and a neckbreaker DDT combo to both women. She sets Toni up for the curb stomp, but Saraya now interrupts, and Toni hits the German in a drop kick, putting Britt in the corner. But on the run, Ruby hits a back heel trip. Britt hits a double underhook slam, but Toni kicks out, and all three are down. Toni kicks her, not kicks out, and all three are down. Britt tries a roll up on Toni, who simultaneously back suplexed Ruby off the turnbuckle. Britt and Toni fight back and forth. Britt hit a ripcord lariat and a neckbreaker for near fall. Ruby returns, trips Britt, goes off the top, but Toni nails her and locks in the Texas Cloverleaf. Britt locks in the lockjaw, but Saraya interferes, dropping Britt in the corner. She paints Toni's butt with the spray paint, and Toni does the hip attack to Britt. Ruby then throws Toni out on Saraya and rolls up Britt for the 3 count. And Saraya screams at Ruby that she's with them. Hayter yells at her, and they leave Ruby in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to continue the storyline that I talked about earlier, like which side does Ruby lie on. We're again, this match came in like third or fourth on my list, whatever it is. It wasn't, again, it was okay. It wasn't bad. There is some slow points to it. They were really trying to sell the story. I loved it. I was with the announcers when they got her into Texas Cloverleaf, and then the lockjaw, and the announcers like, why are we why are we doing this, right? Why are you not saving her? It was very odd. It didn't make much sense at all. And I was like, yeah, there are some missteps, and I don't know if this was part of the plan or if they just didn't think about how it would look, right? Or how it would seem. Because remember, we talked about the whole Swerve and issue with Ricky Starks, and when Swerve explained why he did what he did, it made sense. This is one of those things where when we watch like elimination matches, like tag, like the over the top like elimination matches, right? And people save other people
Mm-hmm.
from being eliminated. And you're like, why did you? That doesn't make any sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like why? Remember, and I think we were watching when we're like at the New Japan show where the tag team member broke up the other tag team members' potential elimination, and you're like, what? Like that
Mm-hmm.
like even the announcers, that's what this match felt like. It was a bit of a mess, but I give them props for trying to continue the story, like trying to make it something. And apparently I didn't realize this, and maybe you knew this, but apparently three-way matches are no DQ matches and anything goes. Apparently I didn't know that. Did not know that, right? I learned something today. But so apparently, like, anyone can interfere, anyone can do whatever they want, and they actually said that. Oh, it's a three matches there. I was like, did we make that up? Did that just happen? Because I've never seen that before. But hey, maybe I just don't know the rules. So very odd match. I just didn't know where. Again, I give them points for continuing the storyline, but again, just it was an okay match. Like, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Okay is a good way to describe it. It was messy. It had
Mm-hmm.
some very messy points. The story, like you could tell from the recap, right? It's like it's tough to follow the actual layout of the match because I don't think it was laid out very well at all. No woman really got a serious fight with another one in the ring, and they were constantly breaking it up. It was very chaotic. No
Yeah,
one got more than a couple moments to shine before someone else hit them. And I mean, sure, they're trying to exemplify the chaos, I guess, of a triple threat, but I see triple threat matches all the
same,
time
same.
that are done far better than this, right? I just kept watching this going, I get triple threat matches in Stardom that they do just kind of for fun, and
Mm-hmm.
they're way better than this, way better than this. And it's because they actually give the opponents time to breathe,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
doesn't have to be a long match. I mean, you only need like 10, 15 minutes with a triple threat to make it decent,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they didn't really do that. And Toni Storm she was working kind of slow in spots tonight. And I mean, her stuff looked fine, but the whole stuff with Saraya interfering, and I'm
Yeah.
just like that. I was like, really, really. So now it's just yet another tornado match on the night or whatever, right? Like no DQ, everyone can interfere. Okay, whatever. Um, so yeah, I was not impressed with this match, and I didn't think it did anything to help the story, right? Because I mean, we're left in the exact
Exact same
same
spot.
place we were
Yeah,
in when the match started, and the
yeah.
exact same place we were in. And I got news for you: Ruby Soho's allegiance is not a big enough point to drag it out week after week. And where the hell is Hikaru Shida?
That's what I was gonna say. Where's she?
So I'm sitting here going, okay, you did this match. She's got in the middle, and nothing advanced. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, and that was the main event. And
Isn't that
Dynamite went
great?
off the air.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say neither one of us has any Omega matches or moments
No,
or anything on
no.
this, except for of course Kenny Omega appearing, which is always an Omega
I
moment. But
I'm just gonna say right now that like next week when I give my wrestler of the week, it's definitely not gonna be someone who wrestled tonight, right? So just a spoiler
right.
alert, everyone. I'm sorry, but like the matches were just not good enough so far. Now, hey, Rampage can totally suck. It can totally suck. And I have to go back and retroactively say, you know what? Well, this person was the best of the rest, right? But the Rampage has the elite, and they have top flight in the Air Fox. So kind of doubts that I'm gonna have trouble picking matches or wrestlers of the week, right? And as I've said earlier, and my recaps I've been providing to everyone, Elevation has been pretty damn good, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if the matches I recommend or match of the week comes out of a show like Elevation, right? So yeah, so we will see. Yeah.
We will see. And there's a lot of good wrestling going on this week that has nothing to do with AEW, because if I had to pick a wrestler of the week too, it sure as hell ain't coming out of the show tonight. And that's nothing on some of the guys
No,
fighting.
I know.
We're not saying these matches sucked
Mhm.
by any, well, the first one
The
sucked.
first one's
Yeah.
sucked, yeah.
The rest of them, they ranged anywhere from like 2 3/4 star, which is probably where I'd put the last match, to about 3.5 maybe
Three.
for like my match of the night.
Mhm.
That's probably where I'd put most of these. None of them were just like 3.75. I still got to have a couple wow factors in it. And I
Yeah.
really wasn't wowed by anything
Yeah.
tonight. So, um, you know, good to decent to like, yeah, pretty good. Very good.
Mhm.
Good job, guys. Pats on back all around. It was a serviceable match. So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's we got some story advancing a bit with Wardlow. We got some story advancing a bit. We got the Texas Death Match, which is probably the
Mhm.
best thing that came out of this show.
Yep.
And we have a bit more of a card now for Revolution. So
Yep.
yeah, overall, not going to go down in history as a very memorable Dynamite whatsoever.
No.
You got any
Agreed.
final thoughts for us?
Um, you know, again, I think we were spoiled for the past month or so since the new year for Dynamites.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, again, as you said, no one on the card sucks. Maybe a one match sucked, but these wrestlers are more than capable for putting on better shows, and we've seen them do it, right?
Yes.
This is probably, like, I would say, the lowest ranking AEW card this year,
Yeah,
easily,
100%. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think anything else
Worst
can come close.
Dynamite of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Um, hopefully, I guess, yeah, you're right. Some best news were like some of the matches that are set up. Mark Briscoe finally all elite now, and yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to the final 2 weeks and what they're able to do, because there was a comment made tonight by the Acclaimed. We don't care who comes, who the other tag teams are. Even if you open up that forbidden door and want to grab somebody, I was like,
There's
interesting.
no one coming through the forbidden door.
What if the United Empire decide they want to challenge?
They're not going to.
What? What if?
They're
What
not
if?
going to. Sorry. See, I'm so like thing now on their booking right now that I'm just kind of like, there's not a chance that's happening because it's way too cool. Because
It's
you'd have
way
to be
too
like
cool.
building up. You'd have to be doing this, okay? Because here's the real thing you want. Will
Mhm.
Ospreay's like, fine, you beat me in Japan, so I'm going to come and take everything from you in AEW.
Mhm.
And shows up with himself and his boys, and they just
Mhm.
start stripping titles off everybody. See, that would be a cool storyline, right? An invasion by the United Empire in their own turf, which
I
would end up in finally, Osprey having to face Omega again.
Again, I would say, yeah, I would say you came to my hometown, you took away my titles.
Mm-hmm.
They come, the three of them, they challenge for the trios titles, and they beat the elite for the titles,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That would be absolutely great, right? And then he takes his trophies back to Japan, and he's like, "Yeah, took them from your boys,
Mhm.
whatever." And then Kenny and the Bucks have to come get him back or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of stories you could tell there, but that's the story I want to keep hearing. Oh, by the way, just so you know, the like I mentioned on Monday, right? Like the new tournament the new tournament has started, right? Winner of which
Mhm.
gets the New Japan Cup. The winner of
Mhm.
which, of course, gets the title shot, right? I'm pretty certain Will Ospreay's winning that tournament because then he
Yeah.
gets his shot at Okada.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, I think that's going to get very interesting, and I think he's going to lose that shot,
Ooh.
and then he's going to have to win the G. Why am I forgetting that? I must be really tired.
The US title?
No, the big tournament they do, the G1 in the end of the summer, and he'll have to win that and beat Okada,
Ooh, okay, okay.
which will set him up to fight Omega.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's gonna be, yeah.
So I guess on that note, probably the best note for us to leave ourselves on tonight. And as the great one, the god of professional wrestling himself, always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah! And good night. Bang.
Night, everyone.